To see what's making headlines, Deepika Laurent joining us in the studio again.
Hi, Will.
Hello, Deepi. Beginning this time with the U.S. lawmakers formalizing this impeachment inquiry against Donald Trump.
That's right. The New York Times describing it as an historic action that sets up a critical public phase of the investigation. The impeachment promises to consume the country just a little more than a year before 2020 elections. What's not clear is how quickly the Democrats will move to formalize their charges and whether through public hearings and new evidence, they can really bring the Republicans onto their side. That's from the New York Times. Donald Trump, for his part, has called it a witch hunt. A cartoonist for USA Today, Mike Thompson today, sees it as a really tall order for the Democrats. You have Nancy Pelosi there in her little wooden boat trying to fish this big fish, Donald Trump.
I imagine this is getting some ink in the opinion pages as well.
Well, the editors of the conservative Wall Street Journal today, not mincing their words, saying that this vote yesterday was, quote, driven mainly by hatred of Donald Trump and vow that barring new facts, it will fail in the Senate. The paper saying that Pelosi's resolution of inquiry is, quote, merely a formality on the superhighway to a foregone conclusion. The Democrats, the paper says, need more evidence to really impeach Trump. This inquiry showing that their real purpose is revenge for the humiliation of losing in 2016 to a man they think is unworthy of office. Now, there's an interesting counterpoint to that in the San Diego Union Tribune, in which the writer today says that Pelosi's exercising a lot of discipline since the beginning of the inquiry. She's insisting that the focus is on Ukraine, not a, quote, laundry list of grievances about Trump. While the result of the impeachment inquiry was predictable, the fallout that's to come is much less predictable.
Let's move to Austria now, a country that has a sizable demographic that loves to smoke and is introducing a smoking ban in public places.
That's why it's not really news here in France, because it's been about 12 years since smoking in public places was banned. But in Austria, it's being described by one paper, Der Standard, as a blow to smokers on the stroke of midnight on Halloween night. High penalties awaiting those who flout the no smoking in public places ban that goes into effect today. Now, it's a strange paradox because the Austrian capital, Vienna, was named the most livable city in an economic index this year. They have great public transport. They have tap water straight from the Alps. They have amazing benefits for parents. Yet they, at least for Vox, they're one of the most poorly educated when it comes to the health hazards of smoking. 1 in 4 Austrian smokes. It has one of the highest rates of teen smokers. And Vox says that this smoking ban is just the first step because cigarettes are still pretty cheap, about half the price of a packet here in France, for instance.
All right, well, let's move on now to the World Cup rugby final taking place tomorrow. England versus South Africa, a repeat of the 2007 final.
That's right, and it's dominating, as you can imagine, Will, the British papers and the South African ones. Let's start with the British sports pages today. In the 2007 final, South Africa won, but Metro tells the English side today on its front page that it's time to carry it home. The Daily Express focusing on England's star coach, Eddie Jones, who's urging his men to seize a big moment and inspire a nation. There are some undertones that this victory is really something that that the UK needs, given how Brexit has really torn them apart. They need this to bring them together. Jones warning the South African side that the English will be coming at them with no fear. That's what the Daily Express says on its front page. Now, from the South African dailies, you see much of the same fighting spirit. It's our turn now, the Afrikaans paper, Die Burger, says on its front page. And actually in the front page, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu has a little message for them, wishing them well and commending them for their dignity, diversity and courage. The Sowetan goes even further, declaring all-right war. The paper also paying tribute to the Springboks' captain, Siya Kolisi.
Kolisi getting a lot of attention as he's the team's first black captain.
That's right. It's an incredible story, Will. The Springboks are hoping to make history once again because they won the World Cup back in 1995 at home. In front of a newly freed Nelson Mandela, so it's incredibly symbolic. This time they're hoping to win the World Cup final with their first ever black captain, Siya Kolisi, who overcame incredible adversity. And if you read this article, you'll feel like crying. I mean, he grew up in the impoverished townships outside Port Elizabeth. He lost his grandmother and mother just before the age of 16. He was so poor that his friends had to buy him lunch and even buy him toothpaste sometimes. He slept on the floor. His favorite toy was a brick. I mean, this is proper poverty. He got his chance to play rugby at a prestigious school, and really that's where it all began for him. But along the way, he had to battle things like racism, discrimination, also, a lot of snide remarks about being a token selection in South Africa. Now, the hopes of an entire nation rest on his shoulders as he leads South Africa out to play England tomorrow.
Indeed, and regardless of the outcome, already being celebrated for how far he's come, and rightly so. Thank you very much, Deepti Laurent, with a look at the headlines, and we'll be looking at that game tomorrow here on France 24. But for now, stay tuned. Time for a quick break, and then Live from Paris continues.